Well, certainly today is the biggest day of the province where people are really going to be watching or keeping a close eye on what the Premier will have to say as he delivers his State of the Province address. Now, I just want to let you know why we are actually here. And this, the reason the Premier or the provincial government has chosen this Pretoria as the location for the State of the Province address is because they want to showcase some of the work that they have done in order to attract investors into the province and to ensure that there is some job creation. Now, of course, it is barely enough given the high unemployment rate and the fact that Gauteng is also leading when it comes to the crime statistics. However, we are going to be speaking to Mthethwa Lesufi, who is the HOD for community safety in Gauteng, and she is going to give us a better sense of what they were doing and have been doing in order to relieve the province of crime. But before I do so, I just want to paint a picture of what is happening here in Tshwane. Now, what you will see is a red carpet where the guests have started arriving and a big signage that people are using to take pictures in front of, and it's got "I love Gauteng" on it. The words "I love Gauteng" and love in a big red heart and "I" in Gauteng in black. So that's what people are doing as they are walking in. These are the guests that have been invited to the State of the Province address. And now this particular event the venue behind us that you see, the tent behind us, is going to be declared the legislature once the proceedings begin. But to tell us more about the proceedings of the legislature, I am joined by Dulton Adams, who is just going to give us more on that. You are the chair of chairs in the provincial legislature, and you obviously oversee a lot of those committee meetings that take place with the different committee members, where you decide as to how best to serve the community of Gauteng. Talk to us about why it is that we are here and why such an event as this and this location is so important.
I think it's as your introductions stated, that it is what we want to showcase as the Gauteng legislature in terms of what is happening in terms of economic development and job creation. And as you correctly said, that we want to make a big dent when it comes to the youth unemployment. So we felt let's not take the SOPA to the city hall or to a hall, but let's bring it to one of our showcases in terms of Panyaza is building 720 cars a day. So we are saying that this is what the Gauteng government is actually doing, to be able to say that if we can do this, we can attract investment, to say that this is what we are doing. We are able to change the trajectory of the economics of Gauteng, and that's why we came here today.
Now, just to give us a little bit of background, what exactly is this facility that we are at right now?
Well, we have a massive partnership, and we signed a MOU, and Ford actually is the back driver behind all this. So you can see when you come in, it's all Ford, and it's building of cars, all the different components and different parts of cars. I mean, if you look at the conveyor belt, a car can be built very quickly, and that's why 720 cars per day, you can imagine the turnover for cars. And that's why it's important for us to bring the people of Gauteng and showcase through television, tell them this is exactly what you want to do, and go to other areas to show the success that Gauteng legislature is actually doing.
With all eyes really on their screens and glued to the screens as they wait for that address from the Gauteng Premier, this is a great opportunity to talk about what exactly the provincial legislature does. I mean, there are those who might not be aware of the work that happens behind the policy making that governs the province of Gauteng.
I think it was a stroke of genius to come to this venue to be able to show and showcase, as I said earlier on, so that people may know that the Gauteng government is working towards changing the economics of our communities. But we need to take it not only here, we're going to take it to other communities also, to be able to say this is what we are doing, this is how things are changing, and this is the driving force of how the Gauteng legislature in the 7th administration want to change things. And even with the crime prevention wardens, with the HOD being here and all that, it's all coming together, culminating to bring the change for the young people basically in Gauteng.
Thank you so much. There you have it. That is the chair of chairs in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, just giving us a sense as to why it is that the Premier or the provincial government has chosen this particular venue to host the State of the Province address that will be taking place later on today. But before that, we did speak about the issue of crime, which is a thorny issue in many communities. Now, we know the introduction of crime prevention wardens was welcomed by many community members who live in unsafe townships where they felt like they were the subject of a lot of crime, especially in the mornings when they are trying to go to work, because that would be the time when many of the muggings would take place. And the introduction of these crime prevention wardens was welcomed because this would then increase, the visibility of law enforcement. However, some community members are really split in two as to whether or not this move has indeed yielded the results that they thought it would. I'm joined by the HOD for community safety right now. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Mixed bag of reactions, some very happy, some not so happy. What do you have to say about that?
It's normal, and we should expect it, that you can't make everybody happy, but to the extent to which the aim of having crime Gauteng traffic wardens and the concept of crime prevention being at the forefront, as Premier Lesufi had put it as a priority in last year's SOPA as priority number 1. And so for where crime has reduced, I'd want to believe that those people are feeling safer.
Now, we know that the Minister of Police has recently outlined the crime statistics. Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal still leading the rest of the country. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that the measures that you have put in place are assisting in any way, given that we're still at the top of the list in Gauteng, in South Africa?
They are. And I think year on year, quarter on quarter, it has shown a decrease in the stats, especially on policeable crimes, right? Which talks to visibility. On the crimes that are not policeable, like your rape, your sexual offences, those we as a community and we together with the media have to work on that to make sure that not only our children on scholar transport are safe, but also our children at home, and also ourselves as men and women in our own houses, that we are able to be safe.
Now, there is some criticism from community members who had hoped that they would be seeing more of the crime prevention, the Gauteng traffic wardens. They were initially crime prevention wardens when they were introduced to the community. Forgive me for not moving on with the times. But there is that criticism where they would like to see more of them in the streets. And not only that, there's also an issue of bullying in schools, which is something the MEC for Education has also been dealing with. And they're saying that, having the wardens at schools would also assist in terms of the response time of the police. Your thoughts on this?
That we are actually working with the Department of Education, and we are working with our patrollers, we're working with SABC, we're actually also working with SANDF in some instances in terms of the school searches, and making sure that our wardens are actually searching the children or the learners before they get into the school, so that they make sure that any contraband is taken away before they are at school. And then we also have our road safety programs, and we partner with others, and then we actually make sure that we are in the schools and are visible in that way. And in terms of the bullying, a very interesting point that we had a partnership with bikers, and they actually, any child who is being bullied in a school, they actually talk to the parents, talk to the school, and they're able to take that child to school on their bike, and that child gains a sense of confidence as they're able to get that done.
Now, when it comes to visibility, are we going to see more of the wardens in communities, patrolling in communities and protecting the ordinary South Africans? And has that panic button been helpful in any way?
The panic button, yes. The panic button has been extremely helpful. And and I'm sure the Premier will speak to that and the data that we have around how many people have called for e-security and how many people have actually pressed the button for health assistance. I do want to believe that he will also expand on that. In terms of more wardens, of course, we're looking at the fiscus as well, that it is shrinking, and it's a reality that we will need to work within. And it was by Premier Lesufi's pronouncement that we actually had wardens. And so if today there's a pronouncement that is continued, then we'll do so. If they say let's halt, we'll halt so that we can actually be more prudent with the fiscus.
Thank you so much. There you have it. Well, we'll have to wait and see if the Premier will make any pronouncements pertaining to the future of wardens in communities and the work that they will continue to do. So 2 issues that have been tackled today. It seems as though the Department of Economic Development is doing something in order to try and put a dent when it comes to youth unemployment, and also the crime prevention wardens and the community safety department are also trying to make an impact in terms of reducing, crime in communities. But this is still a long way to, where people on the ground are able to feel the effects of the initiatives that are being put in place by the provincial government, by ordinary people. For now, it is back to you in the studio.
Mbalenhle Mthethwa, therefore, are speaking to various stakeholders ahead of Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi's State of the Province address later today in Pretoria.